Hello everybody, this is Carol from Friendly Quail. My cover's dry, yahoo! Now I get to turn the edges underneath. I just want to keep going on this. I'm just having so much fun. So welcome, thanks for being with me today. I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to be putting these to the inside. But I have this kind of rounded corner right here. So I'm going to kind of round the corner on my paper. Doesn't have to be perfect because it's not going to show when I get done, but I'm going to round the corners and then I think I'm going to cut some slashes in it. Let's see how we do. So I hope everybody's doing great today. I am. I'm having a great weekend. My husband's out riding his bike and he'll be coming in. I think I'll cut this down a little bit. In a little while, probably saying, I'm home. And then he'll make brunch for us. Okay, I've got those rounded. Now, I haven't done anything like this with the rounded corner. I'm thinking do I'll try it. I might do all four corners a different way. We'll see how it works. Okay. I could take a little bit of this out. You've done this before. You're probably saying, what the heck are you doing? Well, I don't know. I think I will take, or at least cut this. It can overlap. Okay, well, let's try this one and see what happens. Get out my medium. Okay, so that's a nice medium on there. Let's see here. Oh, and I need to do the edge. too bad. It does fall along, but there's kind of a bump on it. Well, maybe that's just the way the book is, too. Yeah, I think it is. There's a bump on here from when they turned it under. Okay, but I think I ripped this part. And this layer of paper is coming apart. Well, hopefully that will be covered up. Okay, I might try just making some cuts. And not cutting any out. See how that goes. Okay, we'll try that. Gotta just experiment. That's what I'm doing. Okay, I'm gonna do this all right now. And anyway, the rest of the day, I'm trying to decide what to do. Because this will have to dry again. And I'm gonna see, look at that's a layer of paper coming up. That is cheap. Some cheap scrapbook paper. Just real thin. Excuse me. I need to get a quilt on my quilt frame. I would really like to finish up a bunch of the unfinished things that I have. And the quilt tops I have, I don't know, probably almost a dozen. Quilt tops that need to be quilted. And I have a machine, a quilt machine. Okay. That bump is from underneath. So I actually liked not taking it out. That worked a little easier. Now I need to do go over these with the matte medium. Okay, anyway, back to my quilting. I would like to get those tops quilted because, and some of them are like incredible quilts, if I do say so myself. But I really need to get them done because if we end up in a smaller place, or in a place where I don't have this big a room, I'm not going to have room for that machine, and I think I'm going to probably be getting rid of it, and then any quilts I do, maybe I'll have to pay someone to do it. So we'll see what happens. I mean, there's no rush. It's not going to happen anytime right soon. But I'm just thinking ahead. Thinking ahead. You know, I forgot to put the glue on the edge of that other one before. That might have been part of my problem. I think I did. See when I go back. Now I'm going to be putting, I think I'm going to use matte varnish rather than spray to cover this. So that it gets really nice and tough. Okay, half done. And I used to quilt all the time, and I went to quilt retreats, and when I was working and I wouldn't have time to finish things, and then I go to another quilt retreat or class or whatever and start again. And so I ended up with a lot of unfinished things. So I went to a national quilt show. It was the National Quilt Association, and I think I'm going to say 1996. And I saw a booth, and it had all kinds of quilt tops and piles of blocks and lots of things that were like not finished. And of course, you don't put your name on something until you're done. Here comes my husband. I'm making a video, Rich. That's okay, you didn't know. I warned him you might come home and say, I'm home. But anyway, I went to this quilt show, and I saw this booth with all the unfinished things in it, and I thought, that's what's going to happen to my stuff. If I don't finish it, it's going to end up in a quilt show somewhere down the road without my name on. Nobody will know who made it. And it's going to be, you know, I can't enjoy them when they're not done either. I mean, you know, I should get them done and see that. So I decided that my goal was going to be to finish things. Now, that was 1996, mind you. Now, I have also started things, and some even finished, since that time. In 1998, I went to the National Quilt Association show in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and Brenda Papadakis was there, and she has a book called Dear Jane, and I should have cut this one right away too. And it's where she went to there's a Civil War quilt in Bennington, Vermont, at a museum that was made by someone named Jane Stickle during this, like during the Civil War. And she had, every block was different, and they're very, very tiny. So, of course, I was there, and I was intrigued, and I decided to make that quilt. Well, I think I finished the top in 2007 or 8. I'm not sure. I'd have to look. I kept a journal doing the whole thing because it was quite a journey. I mean, it took me a long time to do it, about 20 years. Not that I worked on it all the time. And still trying to finish other things. And this quilt, I don't want to not have it done. I want to use it. I want to have it in my house. One of the things, when we lived in Wisconsin, my house was a little bit more primitive with dark I had black furniture, like tables and that type of thing. And then when we moved to Florida, I didn't want the dark furniture. A little more on there. So I sold all my furniture before we moved. Or a lot of it, not everything. But certainly all of the really dark furniture. And now my house is more, I guess what they would call it, farmhouse or something. It's more with the white, still distressed looking furniture. But some of the things that I was working on would have went really well in my other house, but not so well in this house. So I kind of take my quilts and I put them in a basket, fold it up, or I have them on top of a hutch in the guest room. But I really enjoy having them, and I use them. When I'm cold, I cover up in a quilt. And yes, it does get cold in Florida. I never had made my son, who lived here, a quilt because I didn't think he'd need it until I moved here, and now I should do something special for him. But I have one quilt going right now that I'm working on. That's an applique. I always have something to do by hand. No matter what, even when I'm trying to finish things, I always have something to work on, and it's usually a hand applique. And I'm really loving it. But who knows when I'll get that one done, and meanwhile, I need to get some of those other ones quilted. So I can enjoy my quilts before I die. Okay, yeah, that went much easier. So now I let it dry and maybe put a quilt on my quilt frame. I have one of those machines. It's not called a long arm, it's called a hobby quilter. So it's more of a, what they call a mid-arm. And but I still have the 12-foot table, and that's takes up a lot of space, and I'm not doing as much. Oops, sorry. Hope that you can see this, what I'm doing. Oh, there we go. The edges are under. Let it dry, and time to do the sealing on the cover when this is finished. If I knew how to edit, I'd stop it and let this dry and do this, but I'm not good at that. And whenever I try to put it on pause, it ends up going off. So I will stop now. It's already 20 minutes anyway. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for being with me today. This is Carol from Friendly Quail saying bye.